the majority of the H-1Bs go to the IT and the tech industry because the tech jobs are or who use the H-1Bs on a large scale. So when we talk about just the numbers in general, normally the IT and tech industry is where we typically could see more RFEs. The other industries that use a lot of H-1Bs are nowadays a lot of the pharmaceutical industry, the semiconductor industry, healthcare industries. They're also using a lot of H-1Bs. And normally my uh, experience is healthcare occupations typically have very, very low rate of RFEs. And the reason for that is since COVID, I think the care is pretty important. And USCIS normally they tend to do healthcare petitions a little bit quickly. And healthcare, I typically don't see issues. And after COVID, a lot of focus has come down to bringing industries back to US, which means the pharma industry and the chips, the semiconductor industry. So we're seeing a lot of jobs come back to US, at least a lot of validation engineering, the pharma jobs, and the semiconductor, those kind of jobs coming back into US. Those also we typically don't see a lot of RFEs in general. And even within the tech industry, if it's a staffing kind of a company where you have an end client, so basically you have a situation where employee is an employee of a certain company, and through a vendor they're working for another end client, and the end client is somebody else. So those are the kind of areas where we tend to see a lot more RFEs. And I mean, again, historically, anytime you have a consulting or a staffing kind of an arrangement, they definitely face higher volume of RFEs. And the reason for that is for the last 15, 20 years, always USCIS goes back and forth with this employer-employee relationship. If somebody is a full-time employee, the employer-employee relationship is pretty easy, very easy to establish. But when you have this situation where you have in the consulting world and the staffing world where somebody is working at the end client, the employer-employee relationship is a little bit difficult to establish because who's giving the direction for somebody's work, who is directing and supervising somebody's work, and so on. It becomes a little bit hard. And then in 2020, we had a lawsuit, and USCIS came out with this memo. And ever since, employer-employee relationship became a little bit easy. But again, in the new modernizing rule, again things are a little bit different because that old memo was rescinded. And what that means is consulting and staffing companies can anticipate RFEs even going into the future. The lesser used industries like education positions, research positions, a lot of universities use research positions, creative positions. So those kind of fields, I do think that we will not be seeing a lot of RFEs.